Welcome back, students. Today we are going to be focusing on one thing in particular, transmitting redstone signals. Now, it might sound easy, but there's a lot more to it than just placing a few pieces of redstone dust down and calling it a day. So, let's get started. So, we start here in the outdoor lab to discuss how we can transport signals horizontally and vertically. So first, we will start horizontally. Now say you have a signal that you want to transmit hundreds of blocks away, anywhere from like 10 to 100 blocks away. So what you can do is, normally you can have a redstone line that runs until it runs out, and then right before it runs out of power, you have a repeater. So it increases the signal strength and keeps it going. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but if you want to send multiple streams, so like have two lines next to each other, you can't just set them next to each other like so. Because then that will get powered when you power this, and it just doesn't work. So, what you do is you build two rows of blocks like this, one ground level and one above. And then you put blocks right here in between the two. So the redstone cannot connect, because as you can tell, the redstone's connecting, which will get it all mixed up. And when you do that, you got two individualized lines that are not affected by each other. Now let's say you don't want to use repeaters. Well, you can use redstone torches. This, all it does is it has alternating torches, because when this is off, it'll turn this on, which will turn this off and keep it off. Now you have to have an odd number if you want the same, or an even number of torches if you want the same signal, because else if you have 3, it'll turn it on when this is off. So both of these, each repeater and torch have 1 tick delay, so it's pretty quick. Now you can use observers, which observers are interesting. You can use rails, redstone, or what I like to call an observer chain. So first, rails and redstone. They basically work in the same way, except rails, they cause less lag. So if you're on a huge server, you can use these, and they will cause a lot less lag because of Java mechanics and stuff like that. So what it does is it sends a 1 tick pulse through here, so this flashes on and off, and then this one sends 1 tick pulse, only one tick pulse, and then this flashes on and off, updating this once. Now observer chain, what it does is you can have a hopper or dropper, and the observer, when it updates, it will power that hopper dropper, updating it. So when it gets updated, this will detect that, and then it will carry it on. Now if you just have observers, it will detect when the observer flashes on and off. Because if you look here, when I power this redstone or break this redstone, it flashes on and off. And that counts as a block update. Now the only problem about this is it sends a 1 tick pulse. You have to have a T flip-flop on the other side, like so. Finally, this way is a very interesting way because it's both easy and it can be expensive for some people if you can't get access to slime and honey. But simply put, it's just a bunch of pistons pushing a bunch of slime with a redstone block at the end into other pistons. And a special thing with this one is because since pistons have a 0 tick delay when retracting, as soon as you turn this off, that turns off. Very interesting. Now, you cannot have this redstone block right next to this piston right here, because that will cause problems. It always does. But what you can do is you can have something like a container. Now, you can't have chests or anything like that, but you can have cauldrons and composters filled with stuff. And then when they are pushed, they power this comparator, powering whatever you need. So now we move on to transporting signals vertically, so up and down. So here's the simplest and the fastest method is alternating transparent blocks with redstone on it. Because you know how I said back here where solid blocks block redstone from connecting? Transparent blocks do not do that. So this is technically connected to that, and that's technically connected to this. Now this can only travel 15 blocks, like we all know, because of signal strength. But there's one catch. It cannot be powered from the top, because if you were to power this one, it would just sit there and do nothing. For example, if I place this here, it will just power this one. It will not go down. It's like a cow. It can go up, but a cow cannot go downstairs. Simple. Now, here is a very efficient method, but slower than this, but also very easy, and it's called a torch tower. All it is torches powering blocks with torches on top. Very simple. And then, when going the opposite way, you have a torch powering a piece of redstone on a block that has a torch. So, activate this, and it goes like that. Very simple, and relatively quick. Now, a quicker method would be to use slime and redstone, like we talked back here. Pretty self-explanatory. But make sure you have a non-movable block, because if the slime touches blocks that are important and they are movable, like say yellow concrete, stuff like this might happen, or breaks your entire contraption. So look out for that. And then finally, observer chains again. Now what's great about these is that they are very flexible. So I have this very interesting loop that is made possible by observer chains. So I power this hopper, updating this, powers this, and then it just keeps going. And then right here, I don't need to add a block here to power this. So you can edit this in ways that you want. And it is also relatively quick. We are now back in the indoor lab for our last few things. So I talked earlier about quasi-connectivity in a pistons episode, and I never discussed how you get around it. So say you have a redstone line above a piston doing something, and it has to be there, and this has to be here too. So it's not like you can work around it. So normally when you activate this, it works fine until it inevitably breaks the system. So this something updates that, and then this turns off, and now the whole thing is screwed up. So in order to avoid that, you can do one of two things. You can either put a repeater over that block, or you can put a transparent block or a half slab, like so. Because what this will do is, because if we recall, anything that would power this theoretical block above the piston would enact quasi-connectivity when this is updated. But since this repeater is not powering this block, this right here cannot be powered. So if you had a lamp here, it would not be powered. But if you had a lamp here, it would be. So no matter how much I update it, this will work fine. Same with this, because transparent blocks and half slabs cannot be powered. So that is how you avoid quasi-connectivity madness. Because believe me, it can give you some serious headaches. Alright, for extra credit, what I want you to do is you can collaborate with a friend to create something cool where you can transmit data over a long distance. Now, if you don't have anyone you can play with online or something, then you can create something like this. Now, what this is when I input something from one of these buttons, it only lights up one of these lamps. Now, technically, I should have this going far out into the distance, but I just have it wrap around for the sake of simplicity. Now, what you would do is each person would have a board like this that you can send signals and receive them. Now, I have both of them right here to make it easy for myself. Now, I can send good day, let's meet up, or could you lend me some sugar because I want to bake a cake? And then it will light the corresponding lamp. Now I'm doing this using, well, redstone lines and what I talked about earlier about sending lines next to each other to keep this nice and compact. Now, you have some options. You can do like green, where it's mostly redstone and it's almost instantaneous. You can do like red, where it takes literally forever, or blue, where it's a mix. So, let me demonstrate. Now, press this one, this will take forever, but meet up in the meeting room, meeting time, and then if we wait long enough, good day from this one. And then if you need some sugar, press that button, and then the sugar lights up. So it's very simple, and it's kind of fun when you can send and receive text from your friends. Great class, everyone. I hope you learned a lot today about redstone, and more importantly, I hope you enjoyed it, because if you didn't enjoy it, you wouldn't really learn much, would you? So, I want to remind everyone that if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, because then you can stay up to date on the new episodes of Redstone University that I'm releasing. And guess what? Next episode will be a field trip. So, make sure you don't miss that, because that'll be fun. And last of all, make sure you go do some extra credit. And a hidden advice. Next time you log into Minecraft, you should create a world that's just called Redstone Testing World, that you just experiment with redstone, because that's really helped me. So, hope you enjoyed, and class is dismissed.